The footage we're looking at was shared on Reddit by a user who claims their home has become the site of a persistent and aggressive haunting. The uploader presents a standard suburban interior where the camera pans across a dimly lit hallway and into a kitchen area that seems entirely ordinary. However, the atmosphere is heavy with anticipation, as if the walls themselves are bracing for the rhythmic assault that is about to begin. This isn't just a bump in the night, it's a structural vibration that defies simple explanation, leaving the family on edge and desperate for answers. As we delve into the silence of this home, the evidence suggests that something is not just present, but actively trying to communicate its arrival through the very foundations of the building. The sheer force of those strikes sounds internal to the structure, yet no person is visible. While the pounding is jarring, listen closely to the very end of the next sequence, where a vocalization suggests something much more sentient is present. That final guttural sound has led many to believe this is more than just shifting pipes or a structural defect. Skeptics argue that rhythmic pounding could be achieved through mechanical means or even a person hidden out of sight, though the frequency and power of the strikes make that difficult to execute without detection. Others point out that older homes can experience severe water hammer effects in plumbing, but the deliberate nature of the knocks feels intelligent. The growl at the end serves as a chilling exclamation point to a very convincing piece of evidence. Whether it is a restless spirit or a structural anomaly, the impact on the residents is undeniable. What do you think was making those sounds? I'll be reading your theories in the comments section below as we continue to look for the truth behind these captures. Captured and shared by TikTok user author Kyle Anthony, this video documents a night where the laws of electricity seem to have been completely suspended. The creator stands outside his home in the dead of night, filming the exterior as a series of lights begin to behave in a frantic, almost communicative manner. The neighborhood is silent, the air is still, and yet the windows of the house are ablaze with a flickering energy that the owner claims is entirely out of his control. He sounds genuinely shaken as he narrates the events, describing a house that has seemingly come alive with a mind of its own. It is a haunting display that transforms a modern residence into a beacon of high-strung, supernatural energy.
Shit. What the? Yo, my house is going crazy tonight. Shit. It's going crazy. This lacrosse place thing just happened. It just happened. I'm sure I'm going to be posting that. And now the lights are just going crazy. What the?
The rapid-fire flickering is undeniably eerie, especially considering the owner is outside. As he moves closer to investigate, pay attention to the moment his own equipment begins to fail, adding another layer of technological dread to the scene.
And now the lights are just going crazy. What the? And my flashlight ain't working. Turn the flash on here. Look at this. What the? Shit.
The chaotic display inside the house paired with the flashlight malfunction presents a compelling case for some form of electromagnetic interference, whether natural or otherwise. Skeptical viewers suggest this could be a sophisticated smart home prank or a deliberate lighting setup controlled by an accomplice inside. Some technical experts note that faulty wiring or a failing transformer could cause similar flickering, but the way the lights seem to respond to the user's presence is what truly unnerves the audience. The owner's visible breath and panicked tone add a layer of authenticity that is hard to ignore. Is this a haunting, or just a very expensive electrical disaster? Share your thoughts below, as this case remains one of the most polarizing electrical anomalies we have encountered. This video comes from a Reddit user who began recording after hearing a relentless pounding emanating from a specific spot on their wall. The focus of the camera is a large, modern, abstract painting that seems to be vibrating under the force of something behind it. The lighting is soft, and the room appears tranquil, but the aggressive nature of the sound quickly shatters that peace. We see the painting jostle and shake as if someone is trapped on the other side or trying to gain entry through the very drywall itself. The sheer volume of the impact suggests a significant amount of force being applied, turning a quiet evening at home into a confrontation with the unseen and the unexplained. The rhythmic nature of the knocks is incredibly persistent. Keep an eye on the family cat in this next sequence. Animals are often the first to sense the presence of the unseen, and its reaction is quite telling. The cat's intense focus on the wall confirms that the sound is physically occurring in the space. Skeptics frequently point to shared walls in apartment buildings or water hammer in pipes as the primary culprits for such noises. Others suggest a simple case of a neighbor or a hidden mechanical device. However, the way the painting moves specifically at the center suggests the impact is concentrated. The residents' whisper indicates they are home alone and genuinely disturbed by the activity. If it were a neighbor, the sound might be more muffled or originate from a different height. Does this look like a playful prank or a legitimate paranormal disturbance? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments as we finish analyzing this strange structural anomaly. We have just analyzed a series of deep structural and electrical disturbances that defy conventional wisdom. From rhythmic thumping in a hallway to a house pulsing with light, the energy in these captures is undeniable. If you're finding these investigations as compelling as we are, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new discovery. We post fresh evidence every week to help bridge the gap between our world and the unknown. Take a moment to steady your nerves, because our next stop takes us into a quiet cemetery where the wind seems to have its own agenda. In a peaceful cemetery under the bright midday sun, a visitor experienced something that felt like a direct response from the beyond. The scene is a well-kept grave adorned with several colorful pinwheels and small solar lights, creating a space for remembrance and reflection, while the surrounding trees and grass appear completely motionless, suggesting a lack of any significant breeze. The blue pinwheels on the grave suddenly begin to spin with incredible velocity. The camera woman is clearly startled, addressing her deceased mother as if acknowledging a spectral presence. It's a moment of both beauty and profound mystery in a place of rest, where the boundary between life and death seems to flicker for just a moment.
Blue ones were not spinning at all. Mom, are you with me? Spin fast. The blue ones were not moving at all. At all. It's not a windy day. It's not a windy day. Look at the branches.
The cemetery footage offers a localized anomaly that is hard to dismiss, especially when the camera pans to show the surrounding trees are completely still. Skeptics point out that cemeteries are often designed with wind tunnels in mind, and a small localized gust could easily catch a light pinwheel while leaving heavier branches untouched. Others suggest the pinwheels could be mechanically altered, though the spontaneity of the event feels authentic to the observer. This capture reminds us that the world is far more complex than we often acknowledge. Whether you see this as a clever hoax or a genuine glimpse into the afterlife, the impact on the witness is undeniable. Let me know what you think about this cemetery phenomenon in the comments below. This chilling piece of security footage comes from a young mother who was simply trying to enjoy a quiet moment with her infant. The setting is a standard, well-lit bedroom, which usually offers a sense of safety and domestic peace. However, the presence of a Ouija board box resting on the edge of the bed introduces an unsettling element to the environment. As she sits in the recliner, focused on her child and a book, the atmosphere is calm, yet there is a heavy stillness that suggests something is watching from the periphery of the room. It is a stark reminder that even the most mundane settings can be transformed when a doorway to the unknown is left slightly ajar.
You.
The box moves with a deliberate, smooth motion that doesn't immediately suggest a simple fall. It looks as though it's being pulled or pushed by an invisible hand. While the physical movement is startling, the mother's subsequent reaction reveals that the activity is far from over. Watch the doorway and the mirror closely as her terror escalates.
You. Why the you in my room? Get out of my house. Dude, what the Dude, leave the doll alone! Who the are you? What happened? What are you talking to? There was a whole I don't even know how to explain it. Something was
The raw panic in her voice as she demands the entity leave the house and stay away from her child is palpable. Paranormal enthusiasts argue that the presence of the Ouija board may have acted as a catalyst, inviting an intelligent haunt into the home. They point to the box sliding and her fixed gaze on the mirror as evidence of a sentient spirit. Skeptics, however, propose a more grounded explanation, suggesting the bed might have a slight tilt or that a thin thread could have been used to pull the box. Regarding her reaction, some suggest it could be a staged performance, though her physiological response seems remarkably genuine. The husband's confusion further complicates the narrative. Was she truly seeing a figure in that doorway? Tell me what you think in the comments. Children are often thought to be more sensitive to the supernatural, possessing a clarity that adults have long since lost. In this clip, a mother records a conversation with her young daughter that takes a sudden somber turn. The little girl begins to point toward a photograph on the shelf, an image of a man who is no longer among the living. The room is filled with everyday items, but the child's focus is locked onto something far beyond the physical boundaries of the living room, hinting at a visitor from the other side. This interaction challenges our perception of memory and the possibility that those we lose never truly leave our side, especially when seen through the eyes of innocence.
Who's the man in the picture?
Why? Did you see him?
Yeah, but I saw him upstairs.
You what?
I saw him upstairs.
What was he doing?
Standing here?
He was standing there?
Uh-huh.
He ain't saying nothing to you?
Uh-huh.
Did he scare you? Was you scared?
No.
That's right. You don't need to be scared because that's your pap. Yeah, maybe he just came to see you. He didn't scare you when you seen him upstairs?
Uh-huh. So
Where's he at? He's in heaven.
Oh.
He's in heaven. He died when Mommy was little.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in heaven.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why he died. Why he dying from?
Yeah, he was in a car accident.
Car accident?
Did you see him last night or this morning? When did you see him?
I see him in upstairs.
You see the man upstairs when? Last night?
Uh-huh. And he's in heaven.
But you seen him last night.
Yeah, I seen him last night. So he's dead?
Yeah.
So in your belly.
The conviction in the girl's voice is what makes this footage so unsettling. She describes seeing her deceased grandfather standing upstairs, appearing completely unfazed by the revelation that he passed away years ago. From a paranormal perspective, this is a classic case of a visitation where a loved one returns to check on the family, visible only to the most innocent. Skeptics argue that children often have overactive imaginations or mimic stories they've heard from adults. They note that the mother's reaction, while surprised, helps guide the narrative of the video. However, the child's casual demeanor and specific details leave a lingering question about what she truly witnessed. Is it possible the veil is thinner for the young? I'd love to hear your theories on this one in the comments below. The evidence is mounting as we transition from quiet cemeteries to the startling claims of children and moving objects. Each capture brings us closer to a reality that many refuse to acknowledge. If you're finding these insights valuable, please subscribe to Pale Playback and join our community of investigators. We release new evidence every single week to keep the search for truth alive. Now, prepare yourselves, because the next segment involves a kitchen that has become a center of high-energy poltergeist activity that you simply have to see to believe. We are just getting started with the night's most aggressive hauntings. When a home becomes a hub for poltergeist activity, nowhere is safe, especially not the heart of the house. This video captures a series of inexplicable events occurring in a kitchen and dining area during the late hours of the night. The uploader has been documenting strange occurrences for some time, and this particular night seemed to reach a boiling point. The furniture and cabinetry appear to have a life of their own, responding to an unseen force that is both restless and increasingly aggressive in its manifestations. As the camera pans, we get a sense of the homeowner's growing desperation in a space that used to offer comfort, now turned into a playground for something unknown. The chair moves with a sharp, sudden tug that is hard to explain away as a simple vibration. It suggests a physical interaction with the environment, but as the camera pans around, the entity moves its attention to the kitchen counters. Keep a close eye on the drawers. The drawer slides open fully, as if someone was looking for something inside. The speed and force are consistent with the earlier movement. However, the most bizarre moment involves a piece of paper on the door that seems to be targeted directly.
Oh, dear Jesus. Oh, hell no. No freaking way.
The way the poster is ripped from the door and thrown is a classic sign of high-energy activity. Paranormal researchers would call this an intelligent haunting trying to communicate or cause fear. Skeptics, on the other hand, suggest hidden strings could be manipulated from behind the person filming or that the video contains clever edits. They also note that the dim lighting helps obscure any potential trickery. Despite these arguments, the variety of the movements makes it a compelling piece of evidence. Was this a genuine haunting or a masterclass in low-budget effects? Share your thoughts on these kitchen anomalies in the comments below as we wrap up this intense segment. The modern office building is rarely a place we associate with ghosts, but when the sun goes down, these fluorescent-lit corridors can become incredibly unnerving. A woman working late at the Department of Social and Health Services began experiencing anomalies that forced her to pull out her phone and document the strange activity. She describes an atmosphere thick with a sense of being watched, accompanied by malfunctioning electronics and strange sounds that seem to follow her from room to room. The mundane setting of cubicles and office supplies only serves to heighten the creepiness of what she is about to encounter in the silence of the night.
Here we go again. I don't know what the hell. The lights keep going on and off. Oh, that shit was the
The lights cutting out exactly as she expresses her unease is a perfectly timed anomaly. It feels reactive, as if the building itself is listening. As she continues her walk, the situation escalates, with more lights failing and the sound of whispering beginning to fill the silence.
Oh.
The second lighting failure is even more pronounced, plunging the hallway into near darkness. The timing is once again uncanny, coinciding with her movement. She eventually decides to investigate a specific room, leading to a final exploration of a storage area.
Oh. Okay. I have to go upstairs. I don't know. That sound was at the same time as the light went on. Okay, it could be an electrical thing. Doesn't have to be scary. I don't know what's happening. I'm not scared. But Okay, so I'm at my desk now and the lights went out. They were going on and off when I was downstairs. I was able to capture it one time. I'm not scared. I'm over it, actually. I'm super irritated. I'm hearing shit. I hear whispering and humming. I'm about to go over there. Ugh. I'm not scared. But just super irritated. Okay. Oh, no. I'm not scared. Okay. How do I turn the camera on? Okay. I fumbled on the phone. I'm not scared. I heard humming. I'm gonna open that closet again. I'm not afraid. Nothing can hurt me. There it is. Nothing. I don't know what the heck. I had the security guard leave the light on for me in this room.
This extensive footage provides a rare, sustained look at a haunting in a professional environment. Believers point to the repeated lighting failures as strong evidence of a residual or even an intelligent haunting. Skeptics, however, point out that many modern office buildings use motion sensors which can be notoriously finicky, especially in areas with low activity. They also suggest that the humming and whispering could be attributed to the building's HVAC system. While no shadow figures are clearly seen, the psychological toll on the uploader is evident. Does this office building hold a dark secret, or is this just the result of working late in a large, empty space? I'm curious to see your analysis of this long-form evidence in the comments below. This footage takes us into the depths of a crumbling, abandoned facility where history seems to cling to the peeling paint and rusted iron. Investigators often frequent these locations, hoping to capture a response from whatever might still linger in the silent corridors. The atmosphere is heavy, thick, with the scent of decay and the weight of forgotten stories that refuse to be buried. As the team moves through the darkness, they rely on their equipment to bridge the gap between our world and the next. The stillness is oppressive, broken only by the sound of their own footsteps echoing off the tile. What follows is a series of events that would rattle even the most experienced hunter of the unseen in such a desolate place.
Holy
The sudden heavy impact on the door is startling. Skeptics suggest that structural shifts or even a well-timed prank from a teammate could explain the noise. However, the force behind the sound seems inconsistent with mere gravity. Pay attention to the upper corner of the room.
Holy Can you move again? Can you hear us?
Dude. Alex, seriously.
We're coming towards you.
Hello?
What the
The movement near the ceiling is difficult to categorize. While some believe it to be a physical manifestation, others argue it could be debris falling. But the investigators' reaction suggests something far more visceral. Watch the shadows at the end of the hall.
What the Dude, somebody's screaming. Oh my Dude, shut up!
The combination of physical disturbances and that final face in the dark leaves a lot to unpack. Some believe this location is genuinely inhabited by a residual energy that reacts to the living. Others point to the possibility of digital manipulation. The face has been scrutinized. Some say it's pareidolia, while others are convinced it's a distinct entity. The way the sound echoes through the hall suggests a physical origin, but the timing is almost too perfect for a haunting. It's the kind of evidence that stays with you long after the screen goes dark. What is your take on this investigation? Was that a genuine encounter, or just shadows playing a cruel joke? Let me know in the comments as we wrap up this asylum investigation. We have witnessed some of the most startling high-energy events yet. From the aggressive activity in a kitchen to a full investigation of an abandoned facility that produced a terrifying face in the shadows. The evidence is mounting with every segment. If you're enjoying Pale Playback, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an investigation. We release new evidence every single week. Now, steel yourselves because the final portion of our night takes us from the safety of a child's playroom to the edge of a dark forest where something is watching from the trees. A quiet moment at home turns into something far more unsettling in this clip shared on social media. We see a young girl sitting on the floor, occupied with a plush toy in what should be the safety of her own living space. Parents often record these innocent moments, but sometimes the camera captures details that go unnoticed until the footage is reviewed. There is a strange tension in the room, a feeling that the play session isn't as solitary as it appears to be. Watch closely as the mundane becomes impossible, challenging our sense of security in the very places where we should feel most protected. The sight of the toy seemingly standing up on its own is deeply disturbing. Skeptics point to fishing lines in cases involving moving objects. However, the movement is fluid and lacks the jerkiness associated with strings. Some argue the child's reaction is the most genuine part, showing a confusion that is hard to fake. Could a draft cause this, or are we seeing something far more inexplicable? The mother's concern in the caption adds a layer of reality to the fear. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on this playroom mystery as we conclude our look at this specific anomaly. Deep in the woods at night, the shadows often play with the mind, but some captures are harder to dismiss as mere imagination. This footage was filmed by a couple who noticed something unusual at the edge of the tree line while they were out near a construction site. The dense forest provides countless hiding spots for local wildlife, yet the behavior of the presence they encountered doesn't quite fit the profile of a typical forest inhabitant. The silence of the wilderness is occasionally a mask for things we aren't meant to see. As they pan the camera across the dark landscape, the light catches something that shouldn't be there, standing perfectly still amongst the pines.
Is that? What the is that? I can't zoom in, babe. Look at that. Wait, I lost it. There it is, there it is. You see that shit right in the middle of the camera? What the is that?
The way those eyes reflect the light in the forest is enough to cause any heart to skip a beat. While deer or other large mammals have eye shine, the height and lack of movement are perplexing. Skeptics argue it could be a simple prop or reflectors placed by a prankster, but the genuine reaction suggests they were truly caught off guard. This brings our investigation to a close. Tonight, we've witnessed everything from the rhythmic pounding in a hallway to a cemetery's response and the watchful eyes in the dark forest. Each of these clips challenges our understanding of what is possible. While science often provides answers, there remains a persistent margin of the unknown that keeps us searching. These creators captured moments that bridge that gap, leaving us to wonder if we are truly ever alone. The digital era has allowed us to share these experiences, but it also makes discerning the truth more difficult. Whether you are a firm believer or a dedicated skeptic, the thrill of the investigation is something we all share. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the shadows of pale playback. Your theories and support keep us hunting for the truth. Don't forget to comment your theories below on which of tonight's captures was the most convincing to you. I'll see you in the next investigation. Stay curious, keep your eyes open, and keep watching the shadows. Good night.